Actor Johnny Depp once said, "My body is my journal and my tattoos are my story." Tattoos have become a very popular way for one to express themselves, and the process is actually very interesting. The process is engaging in the way that the ink is transferred from a needle to the skin. And everyone should be mindful of the aftercare process to ensure healthy healing. I myself have a large number of tattoos and currently have half of my arm covered. For picking out what type of tattoo you want to the healing process afterwards, they're an interesting way to express yourself. In this speech, I'll be discussing a couple factors that go into deciding a tattoo, how they are actually given, and how to properly care for a tattoo afterwards. When deciding on a tattoo, there are a few factors that are considered. That could be the design, the size and location, and the reason. The design is often related to the reason, which could be to honor a loved one, for style, or just simply because you like them. The style can range from being very small, the size of a fingernail bed, up to covering a whole part of your body. When WebMD mentions the location, they say that you should decide if you want to be able to hide the tattoo for professional or job-related reasons. There are a number of things that a tattoo artist takes into consideration when determining the price. One of those things being the size. The bigger the tattoo, the more it's going to cost, and the smaller, the less it will cost. Color and shading is another consideration. If they're going to do color, it's going to cost a little more. Shading could cost more depending on how much you get. And another thing is the artist itself. Different artists charge different amounts. Another consideration when deciding on a tattoo is the pain. Placement has a large impact on pain. Different parts of your body will hurt more than other parts of your body. According to Kids Health, the pain can feel like burning, scraping, stinging, or scratching, and may be sharp or dull. The Kids Health also mentions that the pain depends on your pain tolerance and the location of the tattoo. Now let's discuss how they're done. So, how are tattoos actually given? The artist begins by prepping the area to ensure a sterile feel to prevent any infections. The artist will wash their hands, apply gloves, and clean and shave any hair on the area. Kids Health mentions that the area is cleaned with alcohol and a thin layer of ointment is applied. The Kids Health also says that artists draw the outline and may have to change the needle size depending on what size they will need. After they're finished with the outline, they will start on the color if it's desired or the shading. A tattoo artist administers a tattoo by injecting ink into the skin using a handheld machine. Mayo Clinic describes the process as an artist operating a handheld machine with needles on the end that pierces the skin repeatedly, and as it does so, ink is put into the skin in any droplets. So, how does it stay in the skin? Frankie Wood Black explains tattoos are made by injecting ink into the skin using needles, and that pigment particles are too large to destroy for the macrophages, which are typically what helps to get rid of foreign invaders in the body. So the ink stays in the dermis, which is a layer in the skin. The tattoo artist will then clean the area to prevent any possible infections. Afterwards, they're going to clean the area with an unscented mild soap. According to WebMD, after the tattoo is finished, the artist will cover the area with petroleum jelly and a bandage, and that the bandage should stay on for at least 24 hours. Before leaving the studio, the artist will explain to you how to properly care for the tattoo. Next, I'll discuss the healing process. While heal time varies, there are a few things done to promote successful healing. Taking care of it is very important to ensure that the tattoo heals properly. The care of the tattoo can affect the heal time as well as the location and the skin around the area. While heal time varies, the Center for Young Women's Health says that it can take about 2 weeks to be able to swim and be in large bodies of water. The Center for Young Women's Health also says that while there are more complicated designs that can take longer to heal, the average heal time may take up to 6 months. Proper care is very essential in the healing process. Keeping the area cleaned at all times using unscented mild soap is very important. When the tattoo scabs and dries out, you should ensure not to pick at the scabs. WebMD says that a thin layer of ointment should be applied, such as vitamin E or A&D ointment, and should be done for 2 to 4 weeks. Mayo Clinic states that mild moisturizer also helps in the aftercare process. There are a few things to avoid after getting a tattoo. According to Mayo Clinic, you should avoid sun exposure and swimming in large bodies of water, whether it be a pool or a hot tub. You should avoid tight clothing to prevent it to sticking to the area. If you have tight clothing, it could stick to it and pull the scabs off. You should avoid scented soaps. Mayo Clinic states that you should use plain soap, water, and a gentle touch. WebMD says that you should definitely avoid picking at the scabs. Today, I discussed what is considered when deciding on a tattoo. Then, I spoke about how tattoos are actually given. And finally, I discussed how to care for the tattoo afterwards. For picking out what tattoo you want to the healing process afterwards, the general aspect surrounding tattooing is pretty fascinating. In conclusion, tattooing is intriguing in the way that the ink is put into the skin, and it is a very fascinating way to express yourself. As Johnny Depp says, your body is your journal and your tattoos are your story. Will you begin writing your story in the form of tattoos?